Almost done. Group K. Really interesting group because I think you have two of the most underrated teams here, DR Congo and Uzbekistan. You have one of the tournament favourites, Portugal, and you have one of the tournament dark horses in Colombia.
Mhm.
DR Congo, surprising amount of Premier League players in this team. I uh, I was a bit taken aback. You got Johan Visser, of course, um, who hasn't really worked out for him at Newcastle, has it?
No.
Which is a shame. Axel Tuanzebe, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's a good team.
Hmm.
And Uzbekistan, of course, have Kusanov at Manchester City leading their defence, who has been brilliant, and some good young attackers as well. I mean, we've talked about Bayern Munich, haven't we? Luis Diaz.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a
I mean,
player.
what an exceptional player. I think he was always this good at Liverpool. It's just perhaps that he wasn't maybe able to shine in the same way that he is now. I mean, he is part of the best front three in world football. I think probably right now the best team as well. And he's a huge aspect. I mean, he's perhaps, and this sounds really harsh, probably the weakest of that front three at Bayern.
Well, they're the
And
two of
I
the
think
three
that's
favourites
just,
for the Ballon d'Or,
yeah,
so it's not,
exactly. So I think that's just telling on how incredible that front three is. And you take away Luis Diaz, Bayern are not the same beast that they are without him this season. I think
Yeah.
he's going to be one of the most exciting players to watch at the World Cup. Colombia in general are going to be great to watch just because
James
it's
Rodriguez is still
so
about. How great's that?
it is, yeah. And their fans will be coming up in drones. I mean, being so close by, it, I think Colombia are going to be. I think they could be a real dark horse here.
Yeah, that Colombia Portugal game is going to be brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to touch too much on DR Congo and Uzbekistan because it's a really tough one
I don't
to
think there's that
because
much to. Yeah.
I think they're solid teams. I don't really know how to
Hmm.
split them because they're not New Zealand, Iraq level poor, but they're not Colombia, Portugal level good. So it's like, how do I?
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
Portugal, Roberto Martinez,
Yes.
um, very divisive figure. I mean, we've not really talked about Ronald Koeman when we talked about the Dutch, but it's a similar vein of manager
Hmm.
where
Hmm.
no one in the country wants him to be the manager anymore.
Yeah.
And
I think the one person who does is Ronaldo because Ronaldo knows that he won't drop him.
Bobby M loves Ronaldo. Bobby M loves Ronaldo. That's clear.
Yeah.
But the thing is with Portugal is perhaps the best midfield in the tournament with João Neves, Vitinha, and Bruno Fernandes. I just
Yeah.
don't know how you beat
Yeah.
that. You've got Ruben Diaz in the defence. You got Nuno Mendes at left back,
Mhm.
perhaps the best left back in the world. Joao Cancelo at right back, who's now that he's gone back to Barcelona, has looked really good. Um,
Maybe not quite as good as he once was when he
of
was just
course,
absolutely world class, but he's still a great player to have.
I think the loss of Diogo Jota is going to be huge.
Yeah, this I think is the most important talking point
Mm,
for a few reasons. Partly just because I mean I'm convinced that that is at least an aspect of Liverpool's poor form this
yes,
season, and
yeah,
I can only imagine that it will weigh very heavily on the psyche of the Portugal team too. I think the saddest thing of all is that look, I don't want to talk too negatively about Ronaldo. He's one of the greatest players there's ever been, but he is, I think, a hindrance to Portugal now. And the saddest bit is Diogo Jota was never granted the opportunity
Mm,
to take over that mantle as leading the line for Portugal. Um, and without him, it, the options aren't great because you know that Ronaldo will start.
yeah,
Because he will be allowed to keep picking himself. So just that without Jota as that knocking on the doors, there's no one to kind of force Roberto Martinez's decision in dropping Ronaldo. And we see time and time again that it just doesn't work having a player walk around for 90 minutes.
yeah, and he's looked better since the Euros. I'll give him that, but I agree with you. When it comes to a big game, he's not someone you can afford to have leading the
Yeah.
line. Gonzalo Ramos is the only really one who could come in, but he's not.
But it's a bigger step. It's a much bigger step down than it would have been with Jota.
Yeah, and I like Pedro Neto. I think Bernardo
Yeah,
Silva's day has gone. I think the thing is with
which
Portugal
is a
is I
shame.
think that their wing positions are weaker than they once were. I used to get really excited about Bernardo Silva and Rafa Leao. Now I don't get excited about Bernardo Silva. I think Rafa Leao has kind of proved to be very up and down.
Yeah,
Um,
he's very, very form dependent.
so we'll see. That being said, when you have Vitinha and Bruno Fernandes controlling the
Yeah,
game, you can beat
yeah.
anybody on your day. Um,
Especially the form that Fernandez is in once again. It's
oh yeah.
like the Fernandez we saw when he first moved to Manchester United. I think he lacks a lot of qualities, particularly as a leader, but as a player and a talisman, he is exceptional.
So for me, Portugal, Colombia, I think DR Congo 3, Uzbekistan 4.
Yeah,
And
I completely agree with that.
the
I
of
think just think DR Congo have a few extra players
yeah.
just to to influence the decision.
Be great to see Kusanov represent his country though. I'm excited for that.
Hmm.
Um, Colombia Portugal is going to be a brilliant game. Really excited for that.
Yeah, yeah.
And as the night as we get deeper into the night, we enter what you've been waiting to hear about: England,
Mm,
Croatia,
mm.
Ghana, and Panama. And this game, Ghana Panama, is the other game that I have a ticket for. Um,
Oh, okay.
so two games between African teams. African teams are involved in both, so that's quite fun.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be great for the atmosphere.
of course, yeah. And I think,
Yeah.
how are you feeling about England at the moment? Because I think it's easy to be pessimistic after those friendlies, but you have to remember that
It
they are
is.
friendlies.
Yeah, they are friendlies. They're friendlies featuring. I'm not even sure if you can call it the B team. It's kind of the C team, kind of in between the B and the C team.
Mm.
Um, but regardless, I think that England, in terms of their squad depth, I'd potentially put them the second best in the world behind France. But I would put them maybe fifth in terms of most likely to actually win the tournament, just because
Wow. Yeah.
they are not as good as the total of their squad. I mean, look, Thomas Tuchel is as a manager is arguably one of the best managers coaching a national side, but I don't think he knows what his best team is
I was just
still,
going to say
and it's
exactly the
so
same thing.
nearby.
Yeah. And I think even
He still doesn't know.
he should commit. Is it Lewis Hall or Nico O'Reilly? Because
Yeah,
really, how much of a difference is it going to be? You
yeah,
know what I
you got to
mean?
pick one.
Yeah.
Just pick one.
And
Yeah,
we know it's probably Reece James. We know it's probably Mark
yeah, indeed.
Gahey. It's definitely Jordan Pickford. It's
Mm.
probably Esri Konza. Probably. Or is it Harry Maguire? Or is it Dan
Yeah.
Burn? I don't know.
I mean, look, I think there's a likelihood he will pick John Stones if he's fit enough. I don't think it should
Yeah.
be anymore. I think Ezri Konsa or Harry Maguire may be the better options.
I
I
can't
say
see
this,
it being Stones. I
yeah,
think it's
but
between those three. I think it's Dan Burn, Konza, or Maguire because he
I
loves Dan
don't want
Burn.
Dan Burn. I think Dan Burn is a very honest player. I think he does the best possible with his talent, but he is not uh, that level by any means. And I would be very concerned if
And
Dan Burn is in the mix.
and
But I think he will be.
what's odd is I think the central midfield partnership is actually among the most obvious, which it's never
Yeah.
been recently.
No,
I think it's
that's
Declan Rice,
fixed a
Elliot
problem
Anderson.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anderson's emergence
Mm.
and his great performances for England have solved one of the hardest problems in replacing Calvin Phillips. Now, I remember people gave Southgate loads and loads of slack for
Mm.
when he made the comment about missing Calvin Phillips in the last
Mm.
Euros, and it's saying, "Oh, but you have these way better players." Like, yeah, we do, but
Not in that position.
Calvin
Yeah.
Phillips, Calvin Phillips is what made that
Mm.
team work so well. He's what made Declan Rice the monster that he is now.
He was fantastic at
Uh,
Euro 2020. He was really good.
he was, yeah,
Yeah.
he was incredible. Um, and so that is a huge benefit for Tuchel that at least he doesn't have to worry about that, and to have Adam Wharton
I was just going to
as a
say exactly the
backup
same thing. Yeah.
is is huge. I think the number 10, ironically, is actually a much harder
Well,
decision than you
I
would
don't
ever
think he knows any
expect.
of the three behind the striker. I think Kane's in. I
Yeah.
think Tuchel's leaning Gordon on the left. I think that's probably the most likely. I think you probably it's a straight shootout between Bellingham and Morgan Rogers for the 10. I
Yeah,
don't know
it
if
is.
Foden or
It's
Palmer
not
are getting
Palmer's
in.
not in. They're
No.
not. Palmer will be in the squad and
Mm.
maybe brought on as super sub, but he's not in contention for starting at number 10 anymore. He's been, and Thomas Tuchel has even said as much. He's given him his chances in his best
Mm.
position, and that's what we've seen. Palmer's just unfortunately in poor form. Phil Foden, there's not much saying there because people just talk about it so much. There's nothing more to say. That brilliant talent hasn't been able to work in an England setup. Um, and then it will be Bukayo Saka on the right wing, even though this is unfortunately the worst form we've seen him in. But it will still
I
it will be and kind of has to be him.
I still think he steps up for England, though. I think he's
He
one of those
does. He
players that does.
does.
And I think him and
He does.
Kane you can rely on. Um,
Yeah.
and I almost think that he might start the tournament with Rodgers and Bellingham has a big moment off the bench. And
I wouldn't be.
Bellingham comes in to
I mean
start in the
Bellingham,
knockout stages.
and he can work in that position for Real Madrid earlier this week. When he came on as a sub, he really took Real up a gear,
I've
and
got to
that
say, I think he's one of the most overhated players in the world. I think he
he
gets
is
far too
overhated.
much
Yeah,
slack. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think it's easy to confuse confidence with cockiness. I think you need that confidence to believe that you are capable of performing at the highest stages, and that's why he has been able to do it for England. I think there's a bit of a media narrative around him, a bit like there is with Marcus Rashford, for some
Yeah.
very obvious and horrible reasons. And Jude Bellingham absolutely can do it when it matters most. I think the biggest talking point now is over Kane because
Yeah.
I would say almost certainly Harry Kane is the single best player in the entire world right now across this season. I'd say it's between him and Elise, but for me, it's got to be Kane. The
Yeah.
issue is we often see him going into tournaments at the end of the season, either really tired or just straight up injured. He was clearly injured in the Euros, and that's why he was playing really poorly by his standards. And at least you had Ollie Watkins, who was in great form as a backup. I think Kane will be exhausted again by the end of this season
Who even
because
is the
while he
number
doesn't,
two? Is it Solanke? Is it?
this is the problem.
I don't. Is it Calvert-Lewin? Like Danny Welbeck's not getting picked. I think it should be Danny Welbeck, but
Yeah, but it won't be Dan. It just won't be him. So it's never
but
going to happen.
if before we, I think we could do a whole other episode about England because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, yeah,
It is not an easy group. I think what you talk about with Uruguay kind of applies here, where I think it is kind of the perfect group for England for me, where you've
yes.
got a tough team in Croatia, but it's not one of the favourites. It's sort of that sort of
Hmm.
top 15, top borderline top
Yeah.
10 team. I think a lot of people are scared of Ghana because of Semenyo and Kudus and Iñaki Williams.
Mhm.
I'm going to be honest, Ghana are not very good. And I think England will absolutely batter Ghana at the Gillette Stadium. And, that's just my opinion. Panama are tough, but they're not blessed with technical players. So they're kind of the opposite of Ghana, where
Yeah.
Ghana are quite easy to beat, but they've got exciting players. Panama are really hard to beat, but don't really have much flair, which kind of makes that game that I'm going to go see quite interesting.
Yeah.
I think Croatia could beat England. I think that could easily happen. But I still
Yeah.
think England breeze through this group, even if they lose that
Yeah.
game. Um,
Yeah.
I think they might draw it 1-1 or something.
Mm.
But
I
that's
think
def
a draw is very likely. And they'll kind of I could see it being a bit like it was in the last Euros where
yeah.
they beat the teams they're supposed to, but not very convincingly, and only switch it on against one of the top teams that they get beaten by.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty straightforward, cut and dry. England 1, Croatia 2. I'm gonna go Ghana 3 just because of the Semenyo factor,
I'd yeah,
but
yeah,
then
I'd put it
Panama
exactly
4.
as it is there. Yeah.
But that is an absolute mammoth episode. And if you have managed to watch all of this, I commend you. Um, even if it's taken multiple parts. I know I am absolutely knackered, and I'm sure Ben is as well. Um, we will be back hopefully soon to go through some kind of power ranking video, I think. That would be fun to do next, now that we've gone through
Definitely.
all the groups. And I will be back with some kind of pre-tournament itinerary, letting you guys know what I'm going to be up to. So I'm really excited for that. Hopefully, I can get a game for Germany Ivory Coast. That would be really fun. Thank you, Ben, for joining me for what has this
Thank you for
been?
having me, mate.
Over 2 hours.
Don't know, I haven't been counting.
um, and yeah, let us know if you disagree with any of our opinions. But we'll catch you again for another video soon.